Hi guys, welcome to Gellis Guys podcast with me, Natasha.
And Xolie.
And I sometimes go by Nat.
I sometimes go by Michelle.
Yes, and we've got a very special guest today. I'm going to pick a name for you.
I'm just Tinto.
He's like, nah, don't do that. There's no need for you to do that.
Or if you get one, you gotta give me one that's got real meaning.
I'm going to pick a name for you from Tanzania. No,
You're going to be Kwame today.
Thank you so much for joining us. So those of you, listen guys. So Tinto is the host of The Filling Station, one of my newest favorite podcasts. And yeah, so how are you?
Can't complain, I'm doing very well. I'm trying to cope with the whole sun going down at 3 p.m.
Right.
Which does not make sense.
So can you imagine then people listening to your podcast in this miserable weather? So I know we're going to ask you questions about how you cope.
Okay.
But are you interested in how we cope in these dark times where we are listening to these traumatic stories?
I actually think
alcohol helps. Thank you for asking. Alcohol really helps.
I think I am interested in knowing. In fact, it's funny you say that because just today I received a message from someone, and I hope she doesn't mind me talking about this.
Yeah.
She sent me a message in the DM and then she goes, I just wanted to say thank you for the podcast.
Yeah.
Because the podcast has helped us cope with COVID.
Yeah.
So both her and her husband contracted COVID.
Oh gosh.
And during that difficult period, what kind of kept them going was the podcast.
Yeah.
And it made me think, this is kind of helping someone during a difficult time.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, it does cross my mind.
Yeah.
That, how does this affect people? Is it helpful? Is it not helpful? Yeah.
I think it is helpful. At the end of the day, people are looking for a different reality.
Yeah.
It's an escape.
Yeah.
And sometimes listening to other people's problems.
Ace.
Yeah.
It's an escape of a sort of very strange escape.
It's crazy.
And that's the thing. Like when you listen to other people, you're like, "Oh, girl, you should have done this, that." But then sometimes you're like, "Oh yeah, this sounds familiar because I've done this sort of the same thing."
Yeah.
It's very similar to watching a football match. For as long as you're watching it on TV, you feel you can direct what someone should be doing with the ball. No, do this, do that. But the person on the ground is seeing a completely different view.
Thing, yeah.
And that's the same with relationships. When I sit back and play back some of these episodes, I just don't get how certain people get into the situations they end up themselves in.
It's hard though, because you don't really think when you're in something, that is all that you're thinking about. But when you're out with the situation, then you look back and like, oh shit! Like,
it's
how
hindsight.
did I stay? Hindsight is 2020, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, how did I stay in that? And sometimes listening to other people's problems, you're like, oh shit! I thought I had it bad, but girlfriend.
I know.
Sometimes I struggle to think whether that's actually problems anymore, because everyone seems to have this unique thing that is not right somewhere. So is it really a problem anymore?
Do you mean in the sense that, okay, we're now delving in because there's a theme,
okay.
right? Because I think, I'll just say it, like, why am I dishonest? There's a theme, like from the breakup
the very same reason that women are dishonest.
But why is it that more men are dishonest than women? It's almost like it's a sense of entitlement, a sense of privilege.
I think it's just more visible with men than it is with women.
I guess women are cleverer and hide it a bit better.
Yeah. Or men just don't expect it, so they don't see it. But what you need to consider about this is, at the core of everything that's happening, we are all human. Right? So we all have the same heart, we all have the same brains, the same eyes, the same hands. More. I think we hurt the same. Men just don't talk about it.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, and it's good that
I meant in terms of not the quality of the hits, but in the quantity. Like, you find that one man has probably broken 10 women's hearts, whereas one woman would probably do about 7, 6.
Where'd you get those stats from?
That's my. This is my own personal experience.
Those are stats I'll be very interested in finding out. Okay, so maybe just to give you a bit of background and context.
Yeah.
It's highly unlikely that I will ever speak about my breakups.
Okay.
Right? Reason being,
guys, welcome to the episode. So today Today,
you walked into this.
No.
having a session.
You walked into this.
And I was just gonna say the reason why I probably
Yeah.
won't speak about it is one, people know that it's me talking, right?
Okay.
I mean, like now I'm on camera, I'm on the podcast,
Yeah.
it's known. And secondly, the people who are involved are also very known.
Right.
Yeah. So look.
Okay.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So I think the point I was getting at was if I felt I could speak in confidence about it somewhere, I would let it out.
Right.
And that's the same thing that you'll find with a lot of men.
Right. Well, welcome to this
Welcome to Get
this
It,
safe
guys.
space.
This very safe
It's,
space.
you know, we are here
With all
for-
these eyes looking, yeah?
we are here for you. We want to make sure that we look after your heart.
Oh my gosh.
And, we want to get to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
You know, tell us, so who is Tinto?
So, which part of Tinto would you like to know?
The part that you're comfortable to reveal.
Okay. So
Tell us something that makes you vulnerable.
something that makes me vulnerable.
Mm.
I'll tell you something I have a very big weakness for.
Ooh,
Tears.
okay.
So I can't deal with tears
Okay.
because as a guy, I think I'm genuinely very sensitive.
Okay.
And I cover that sensitivity by being very bubbly most of the time because I feel that if I'm bubbly, then whatever it is that could make me sad stays away.
Right.
So if we're talking about something that makes me very vulnerable, tears and difficult emotional situations for people, right? And maybe just to give that a bit of context, this week has been particularly difficult for me
Okay.
because a friend of mine lost a child.
Oh.
And then being at the funeral, seeing everything happening, coming back home was a really difficult time for me. To the point where my little boy, my son, noticed something wasn't right. And I don't know how kids do this. You know, he's only 3.5. So he came, sat on my lap, and then he just gave me a hug and he kept quiet. He didn't say a thing.
Really?
Yeah. So then now the thought of me holding him so close to my chest, and then the thought that I've just buried somebody else's child just messed me up completely. You know, literally controlled me. You know, when you cry and it's not even from the chest, it feels like it's from the soul.
Yeah.
That's what that felt like.
Yeah.
So so that's what I'm particularly sensitive and vulnerable about. Emotions, things that deal with the heart are just they're just something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that comes across on the podcast. So I wanted to ask before I go back to the real question I want to ask,
Okay.
sort of like how did the pod happen? Like how did it start? I do have to a shout out Tabo from 6 Foot Weight.
Oh yes.
So he is the person
Yes.
who introduced me to your podcast. I mean, he didn't introduce me person, but he
Yeah.
posted on Twitter.
Okay.
So he posted a clip, and initially, I assumed it was a South African lady you were speaking to. So it was like, so I was listening to the story, and we're like, oh my god, this is crazy. So I thought it was a South African podcast, right? And I was like, oh my god. So I kept sort of like responding, and then you know, guys know, like it takes so much for you to be like, okay, let me check something out. You know, it takes so much for someone to be like, let me check out this podcast. So then I listened to it, and like I still wasn't sure, right? Because I was like, oh, like this is good. Like I thought, is this like no, seriously, I was like, this is like South African or whatever. Then like as time went on, I was like, I think this guy's from Zim. Like 3 episodes in, I was like, I think he's from Zim. And then like your outro song, I was like, and then like when I discovered that you're from Zim, I was like, oh my god, I was so happy. I was like, oh. And I think I remember
One of
I
us.
shared it with you. I was like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
this podcast called because I was coming from your house. That's
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
time I listened to the pod, and it was like a 40-minute drive. So I managed to like listen to
So
one
it's
episode.
pretty much perfect for that sort of
Yeah.
journey. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So no, like great work.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. And I guess shout out right back to Tabo. You
Yeah,
know, for that. The
indeed.
6 Foot Weight guys are doing some incredible stuff.
Yeah.
I listen to their podcast regularly. The one that they brought out about 2 weekends ago was particularly interesting.
Which one?
Which one was that?
The one where they were having a debate about whether having a full body massage with a happy ending is considered cheating.
Yes.
Also, I didn't
You know,
know. No, I
Oh,
haven't caught
no, you need to catch
one.
that, because what I found particularly interesting is when you say you're going for a full body massage, what are you going for? Full body massage, right? So they're going to do your head, your shoulders, your neck, your back,
Yeah.
your thighs, your
Yes.
knees, your toes.
Yeah.
If for some reason this full body massage stops at just the waist, is it still a full body massage? No, right?
What are you guys saying?
We
Because
just
you get touched
yeah.
when you're having a full body massage.
So,
As a woman, like, not
what?
you've never had.
No, I've never had a full. Sorry. What? You get
Well,
happy endings.
Yeah. And basically happy ending is the equivalent of having your penis caressed.
Hypo. Yo.
And the
Sorry,
argument
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. This happens.
Yeah.
They touch
Your penis.
Brent. Have you ever had a full body massage?
I like this guy. Ask no questions, hear no lies.
Is that serious?
Oh yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah.
allowed?
It's 100% it's allowed because you have to consent to somebody touching your private part.
It's cheating.
How is it cheating? Because, and this was my argument to Tabo when we spoke 2 weekends ago, right? Because I agree with what he was saying. I do not think that a happy ending is cheating, because you've gone in primarily
Sorry, can
for.
I ask you a question? Here in London,
Yeah, haven't you seen those places that say Thai massage?
they touch it down below.
If you want to be touched, yes.
So you get completely naked.
Yeah, I mean it's a full body
As
massage.
a woman,
though.
you don't even get full. They get you these
Yeah.
paper knickers.
Well, if you want knickers, yeah, you guys get the knickers. But you guys get knickers for a different reason. Right? If you get excited by the guy who is touching you up, right? Imagine Brent, right? He's a good-looking guy, muscular guy, right? He's giving you a full body massage. What's likely gonna happen to your cookies?
You're asking difficult questions.
It's a very simple question. What's likely
asking
to happen?
very difficult-
What's likely to happen to your cookie?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Okay, I can guess for you guys what's likely gonna
I
happen.
mean, this is a youth discovery.
No, I'm going to Google this because I don't believe you.
Okay.
Yo, okay, so
No, you can't.
I am genuinely surprised you guys don't know that this is a thing.
no.
So you
How?
leave the massage parlor, like a proper one, not these ones, this back door massage.
No, you can go to a proper massage and place and say you want a full body massage.
In
and,
central
and
London, you
in,
go
in
there.
central London, you could go anywhere. But I'm not saying it's every spa that does that when you say you want a full body massage.
Or there's particular ones.
There's certain ones that do it and certain that don't.
Call locals in and ask if he's had a full locals and a full body massage.
Is it a guy or a girl?
A guy.
Oh, this guy's in trouble.
Don't say the name.
Call the brother.
Call just you because you're linked in.
So I can-
somebody
No,
to call.
I can almost guarantee this guy will say he's never had a full body massage, or if he's had a full body massage, he will not admit to the happy ending.
Yo,
Try
no,
it.
this is a
We
real
can bet on it.
I feel like I would feel some type of way if my man went and had a full body massage
And
then
got
had a
touched
happy ending.
there.
Yeah, like, so what was like? No,
But what you guys need to recognize is one thing. For some people, doing these things is work for them, right? And
What do you
and it's an
mean?
art form, and I'm about to explain. Okay, how would you feel if
Work it.
how would you feel if a male gynecologist got turned on by examining your cookie? You'd have a problem, right?
This
Because
is
he's behaving
different.
unprofessionally.
This is different.
I don't think so. The masseuse is a profession. Is a professional.
can you hear the lyrics?
It's not lyrics. It's not lyrics. Let's just reason and think about this logically. Get rid of the sexual element of this. How would you feel about a gynecologist getting excited about seeing you naked?
No,
You-
but they
you d-
wouldn't. This is a professional.
Exactly. They wouldn't, and a masseuse wouldn't because it's a profession.
This is a discovery, and I'm interested from many angles, particularly if I could get a full body massage.
You very likely can. And in fact, there's a guy on Instagram who does it. Yes, for women.
Can you please send
For
me the
women.
details?
He came out and he says he does not want any male followers. He's based in America though.
Oh,
Yeah, so I don't know how he's going to do
which
that.
part?
I don't know.
Hi.
I'll look for it.
What's
Okay.
up?
All right. Anyway,
Can I ask you a question?
Whilst
I need to hear this.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had a full full blown. A full body massage. Can I ask you a question? Do they touch places that's where the sun doesn't shine?
Doesn't shine. That's
Yes.
your ass.
So do you take everything off?
I wish I could hear this phone conversation.
I know.
It depends.
Exactly. See? This guy's my man. This guy's my man.
That is cheating.
Nah.
It is cheating.
No.
Okay. All right, cool. I'll call you later.
If you don't tell me,
Mm-hmm.
it's cheating. Because then you have a
Okay.
release, right?
All right. No, thank you. Just wanted to check something. Thanks, hey.
I'm actually going to look up something
Thanks.
whilst you guys are doing this.
No. Shout out to the 6 foot weight guy. Now I'm going to listen to that episode.
I need to finish it. 'Cause I saw the discussion and I was thinking, obviously you are not going to get touched, but it turns out.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you take everything
Yeah.
off.
You see, this is the thing. You have to think about the context. Why have you gone to get a full body massage? Because you want to feel relaxed, your muscles are tense. Okay? Once you start excluding body parts, it's no longer a full body massage.
God.
But why is it not the same for women?
It's exactly the same for women.
No, have you ever?
No.
I never get touched there.
Well, that's only probably because the place you've gone to doesn't offer that kind of touch.
I've-
I'm sure there's a happy ending for women.
I'm interested in getting further information.
I'm sure you are.
If I knew where to direct you guys, I'll take you right there and say, check this joint out and see if it's your cup of tea.
What would you want to be touched though by somebody you don't know?
It's better than the Sahara.
Oh my
Test.
Better than the Sahara test. Oh my gosh.
Okay, no. All right.
Oh.
Maybe we may come back to this, but the question was like,
Yeah.
why did you start the pod? Like, how did that happen?
Jeez, we backtracked, didn't we?
Yeah, we
did.
did.
Okay, so I started the podcast because of a video that I saw that was shot by my friend. And I'll give a bit more context. So I have a friend from Zambia. She sent me this video. She's like, oh yeah, check this video out. Look at your people, look at your Zimbabwean people. So I get this video, and the first thing I notice is this thing is 48 minutes long. And I'm like, whoa, who's gonna watch a 48-minute video, right?
Yeah.
We live in the microwave generation. We had Vines, which was 6 seconds long.
Yeah.
TikTok was 15, 20 seconds long. So I saw 48 minutes and I was like, okay, I'll try, but I can't guarantee I'm gonna watch this whole thing. I hit play, and guess what happens? I see one of my friends. A childhood friend is in this video. And I'm like,
wow.
whoa, what is happening here?
Yeah.
So I start listening to the story, and pretty much for the whole 48 minutes, she was talking about how she was in a psychologically abusive relationship for 3 years and had no clue. Right? So 5 minutes I'm in, 10 minutes I'm in, and before you know it, 48 minutes were gone and my jaw was to the floor the whole time.
Yeah.
It literally felt like 2 minutes. So I picked up the phone. I'm like, yo, I've just listened to your thing. It is crazy.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I do an equivalent version of this without the video, and I'll turn it into a podcast where we do stuff with people anonymously? And guess
Yeah.
what she said? You got my blessing.
Wow.
So I always give credit to her all the time. And I hope she's listening to this episode
Oh.
because she is the inspiration behind it. And here we are today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shout
So
out
that's
to
how
her.
it started. And it continues to grow.
Yeah, no, you've just ran with it. And
Yeah.
guys, definitely check out the
Feeling station.
Yes, a question. Like, what's your heartbreak story? Like, do you remember a time where you were like really heartbroken?
Yeah, I remember in high school, and I think that's the easiest one to tell because not a lot of people are going to remember this girl. Thank God.
I know you chose the story.
No, I definitely
Not
chose
the
it.
real
Oh my God,
the real heartbreak.
the real ones. Nah, they're too fire. They're too fire.
Okay.
So high school, me and this girl were liking each other and stuff. Everything is cushy, everything's going swell. And hey, do you know when you think about someone, you just feel your chest is just nice and warm all the
Well,
time.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
And then in high school, see where I went to school, we weren't allowed to really hang out with girls.
Right.
Yeah, because they were just like, just don't do it. So you'd sit on the soccer field, and if you sit back to back, hey, I'll be feeling the warmth from her back. I'm like, hey, this is nice. Imagine getting turned on by somebody's back, sha. Ish. We were young. Huh? So anyway, everything is nice. And then there was a prefect's camp because I was a prefect at the time. We were in the prefect's camp. And she wasn't the prefect, so she remained. And on this particular weekend, they decided to do mixed swimming for both boys and girls. And one of these guys was in A-level who had an eye on my chick for a while. Entered the water, right? Together with my girl. And then somewhere along the lines, I think their butt cheeks touched, and then they turned around, then they started kissing, and they started. No, I wasn't there. Remember, I'd gone for my prefect's camp. And then they busy touching, what? Hey, it sounded like they had a good time.
Sounds like they did.
Soon as I get back, one of my homies tells me, yo, your girl was being, the term that they used, granuad. Someone was granuad in garinya. And I was like, ooh. The guy was hench. I was a skinny guy. Right? At that time, so I was just like, I can't even go cause a scene. So I asked the goodie, okay, what's up? What's happening? He's like, oh yeah, he came and he said, he liked me and it was nice to hear that and blah, 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 blah.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, and the rest is pretty much history.
So she became his girl.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they became boyfriend and girlfriend in the end and stuff. It's weird.
But she doesn't have a podcast like the Feeling Station.
No, definitely not. So that's a light touch. But for me, because I was so young and I was really, really into her, it hit me pretty badly. Yeah. But I came out okay and I'm all right now.
Yeah. I mean, look at you now.
Yeah.
So you're not single?
No, I'm not single.
You're very much taken?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a question I get asked all the damn time.
Why do you think so?
Yeah,
Because I keep my private life private.
Yeah.
Just simple as that.
And why? Why is that?
Because I believe if you give people ammunition to use, they will use it.
Yeah.
And if they don't have the ammunition to use, they just won't use it. And then what you need to remember is that it's called private life for a reason.
Yeah.
Because it's not in the public domain.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that anybody should cherish and hold very jealously is your family.
Yeah, I agree.
So I just keep those out of the loop completely.
Okay.
100.
Yeah.
So I think...
Well, yeah. So we're glad to have you on today.
Thanks.
Because we've been gathering some dilemmas, which we were hoping to kind of do with you today.
Okay, cool.
So just there's a couple, I think, from a few months ago.
Okay.
And we're just gonna run through some dilemmas. I don't know. Can I do the one which came in today?
So what sort of dilemmas are we talking about?
So we've tried to choose sort of like relationship.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not too well. You can't say not too. Let me not even say that because people's lives are obviously at
stake.
at the end of the email kind of thing.
Okay.
So this one came in today. So we'll try and do a few.
Yeah.
But I thought this one was quite interesting. So this girl sent in this email today and said, hi guys, please can give me your take on this. Hide name.
Okay.
So it's like, don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Georgia. I'm just kidding. She says, I got married last year and things are going pretty well, I would say. I've asked my friends and family this and I keep getting different advice, hence my email to you. Like I said, I got married August last year. My husband is adorable and we have a good level of understanding of love. And although we have disagreements like any other couple, we eventually managed to sort things out. My biggest issue and the cause of many of our arguments comes to finances. He's the firstborn and sole provider for his family. My parents have passed away. He pushed for us to have a joint account, which I agreed. I like to save and plan ahead, but he's more frivolous and spends spontaneously. Gosh. Sometimes dipping into our savings to send money to his mom and sisters back home. Not to sound resentful, but I'm talking like $1,000 in a space of a few weeks. He's now talking about buying his mom a car. And when I questioned him how and where this money would come from, he said he would use up our savings, and this is our last savings, and put this money back in the next few months. Girls, what do you think about this? I love this man, but I'm finding this very difficult to deal with.
You want my comment on that?
Yeah.
Why did they get together is the first question I'd ask. If they got together because of love, that's why they're having these problems.
Right.
Simple. So
Explain.
so here's my take. People should only really get married because they know that they're a good partnership.
Right.
And if you're a good partnership, you understand each other's financial habits and you understand how good someone is with money or how bad they are with money. If that doesn't work for you, you can't be together, which means you can't be in love.
Right.
Full stop. That's my take on it. If I can work with you very well, we do very well financially, we do very well spiritually, we do very well in our work ethic, it's very likely that chemistry is going to build around that. And when that chemistry builds, you have trust. And when you have trust, you have love.
Right.
That's the way that I understand things to work.
Okay.
If the foundation is love for something, that foundation is going to break because potentially you don't work well together.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to break you guys.
So that's interesting because I also believe that, to make a relationship work, love is a very small, love has a part in there.
Yeah.
But it's not the biggest
Exactly.
part.
Exactly.
So what do you think, Nat? Like what advice would you give to her?
I think what you guys have said is interesting. I think they need to talk.
Right?
Because I don't think she has said, I think she said they disagree, but it doesn't sound like they've had like a sit down to like, babe, let's talk about this. So, like, I think it's interesting because like my spending, like not that I'm frivolous, whatever, but I am a spender. Like I'm a kind of like
also known as frivolous.
I'm a like let's experience the moment type thing. Like so I will spend big on like let's go on holiday or like let's go to a concert, like experience things.
Yeah.
But if you're dealing with someone who's really conservative and wants to sort of save, that could be an issue. But I think you need to sit down. I think even if the foundation is love, you can still then try and get those tools to build a partnership. And it starts with talking, and then perhaps maybe you guys sort of just need to just have like ongoing, I don't know, marital counseling, and then finances is one of the things that is covered.
But you see, by the time you start introducing marital counseling, you're introducing a third dynamic to what's meant to be private. Right. And this is where the problem I think comes in. If two directors of a company understand why they're in this together and they're working very well, you guys work very, very well together. Right? And because you've got this foundation, you've got trust in each other. And because you've got trust in each other, you've got love for each other. And if something isn't right, because you got this trust and transparency, you can tell each other off. And it doesn't feel like an ass whooping. And you guys recover. So these guys, because they got love as the foundation, they don't understand whether they can talk to each other. So she doesn't know if she can tell him without pissing him off.
Yeah.
And if she does piss him off, she doesn't know whether he's going to stay or say, you know what, I can't deal with someone who talks to me like that. I'm the man of the house. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whereas if they did this from the get-go, this is how I am with money. This is how I am with money. I'm struggling. Do you think we can try and work together and see if we can help each other with money? Okay, let's give that a shot. Oh, you guys are, you've really helped me. Now I'm so much better with money. What else can we try and do together? Then they find something else that they do together.
So the key is like, is I think what Nat is also saying is communication.
Yeah.
So that I think that's probably the first step, to communicate and to acknowledge that you have got different spending habits. And maybe try and find that whole middle ground. I mean, obviously I'm no expert. And when it comes to money, I'm not the best. So I can imagine if I was in a relationship with someone and, I saw a nice jacket and there was bills to be paid.
Yeah.
It's difficult, but I think communication is very,
So how
very
brutal
important.
can we be with this discussion?
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah.
Okay, so if this person is actually listening right now, they're potentially going to get their situation worse.
Worse?
Yeah.
How?
Because she's going to have this conversation with him and say, oh, I really don't think we're spending money the right way. But remember where the money's going. It's going to his family. So which man wants to be told not to spend on his mom?
On his mom.
Or his dad.
Yeah.
Or his siblings. Okay, the moment she voices that, he's going to start resenting her.
And she resenting
And
him
she's,
as
and
well.
yeah.
She's already said that.
She's already said that already. So this really already feels like it's a downward spiral.
So what
It
so
can't
what
be
does she
saved?
So what does she do?
Again, it goes back to the same question, can they work together or they can't? The way to approach relationships is be with someone whose worst side you can handle.
Oh, wow.
Full stop.
Let me take some notes. Brother Tinto is bringing it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Be with someone who's what side you get. So if she can't handle this guy's money spending and frivolous behavior, she needs to leave. Because
Really?
it will not work.
After 1 year of marriage.
It's only 1 year.
Wow.
It's
Tinto,
only
I need
1
I
year.
need to spend more time with you.
Not
Seriously.
It literally is only just 1 year.
You have articulated something that I've always thought about. And interestingly, like when you even gave an example of like partnerships or even like doing a pod or whatever, I think the relationships that work are where there is a goal.
100%.
So where you are clear that there is a goal and you define it, then like you said, you can recover.
Yes.
And everything. When you don't have a goal,
Yeah,
that's
it's just
why
messed up.
you can just
You
I
know.
think we've talked about this before like with relationships. Like you like it's kind of like why I'm my own person, like how ego kicks in.
It's really important, and I love the way that you say that, because there's a book that literally everybody has read, Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and it says begin with the end in mind,
Yeah.
because what that helps you do is map the steps for you to get to the end.
Set clear
So
objectives.
I guess for her, whoever she is, just ask her, what do you really want out of this with your husband? And unless she can answer that question for herself, we can talk about all sorts of theories, but they'll
Yeah.
mean nothing.
And I think what that will help with is her to choose, is this like a small battle?
Yeah.
Because actually maybe we have money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe this is a battle that's worth
Yeah.
fighting.
Ah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Should I go to the New Zealand one? I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting.
Well, you guys are continental, huh?
Yeah.
You guys are global.
Yes.
Global.
Okay. And again, apologies. This is a really old one. I think we got this in September. So hopefully this is still very relevant. So it says, hey guys, I really need a fourth opinion on this. I'll try and keep this brief. So here's the thing. Almost 2 years ago, I moved to New Zealand to join my wife. And then he puts in brackets, we're traditionally married lobola, but not court etc. I have been with my lady for close to 8 years, but most of this has been in a long distance relationship. We met at varsity in SA in South Africa. She moved to the UK and I stayed in South Africa. The plan was to join her, but we had so many hurdles. Anyway, she ended up in New Zealand and that was an easier route for me to join her. My issue is that 2 years in now, being together, I am not happy at all. I honestly cannot imagine spending the rest of my life with just her. I feel like my mind is not stretched. There's nothing exciting. Her conversation is not interesting. Her world is limited. The issue I have is that she's been nothing but loving and kind to me. She did so much to bring me to New Zealand. I love being in New Zealand and do see my future here. I really don't want to play into the whole he left as soon as his papers were sorted thing. So what do I do? Do I suck it up? Or if I am to leave, how do I leave in a gentle way? I can't emphasize how loving she is. She has done me no wrong, but I don't want to be in my 70s regretting. Not sure if this gives context or is helpful, but we have a 5-year-old and I also have a 12-year-old from a previous relationship.
Yo.
Grateful for your advice.
Have you guys heard the saying "Kugari Ramwana"?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what they call that in
Like
Ndebele.
uhlale umntwana.
Yeah, uhlale
For the
umntwana.
child.
That's element number 1 that's at play. This for me sounds like a guy with a really soft heart, but that's all the reason why he's going to be unhappy the rest of his life.
So wait, so you thinking that he's going to stay?
He's absolutely going to stay, because remember, he's already mentioned that
The
I
kids.
want the kids. I'm a parent and I understand what it's like to have a child looking at you in the eye with his innocent looks. It almost haunts you every day if you try and do something that's not right or out of line. So that's constantly playing at the back of his mind. And then he's also acknowledging that this person is really loving and caring. Again, we're back to the same thing we spoke about 2 seconds ago. Loving, right? When you guys were in uni and stuff, what held you guys together? Why did you get together in the first place? Did you feel you could work together? Did you feel if you're apart, it didn't matter? Because there's some people who have distance 5-10 years, they don't see each other. But the moment they reconnect, it's fire again, as if nothing ever happened. I got a friend I see once every 2 or 3 years. But whenever we connect, we
Fire.
have one hell of a good
love
time
that.
because we just work so damn well. So I feel the foundation was broken from day one. They probably liked the idea of being together, but then the reality of it is just, I've been in situations like that myself. Where I liked a girl, haven't seen each other for a number of years, and then we try and reconnect, and it just doesn't feel the same. It feels like we're forcing stuff.
Yeah.
We just didn't have the chemistry and things. This guy just needs to be honest with himself and with the mother of his child. Because if he's unhappy, she could be unhappy as well, but just not airing it.
Not saying it, yeah. My question came, and I just went to this thing and I was reading it and I was like, so he says, I honestly cannot imagine spending the rest of my life with just her. So for me, it's like, what does that actually mean? Just her, as in, is he looking for someone else to help her?
He's asking for permission to cheat. And given all the reason why he should cheat. And then when it all goes wrong, he could lose both his kids.
Yeah. Nah.
This is what he needs to weigh. What's better? To be free and honest and still have access to those beautiful souls that have done nothing but just be loyal, loving kids, or to just suck it up and be happy the rest of his life. And unfortunately for him, when the kids grow up and they can reason, they will see right through him that daddy's not happy.
Wow.
And then potentially they might think, okay, this is the norm. This is what we need to be with, and then that get passed on to the kids.
Yeah.
So he needs to think a whole lot more than just his current situation. He needs to think about the kids.
Yeah. Because it's so true, the things that kids grow up seeing, feeling, the atmosphere, they pick up on that.
And they mimic.
And they mimic it when they're older and you find them in the same cycle. So guys, let's protect those little babies.
And he genuinely, by him not being honest, he's not actually protecting him. He isn't. He's just continuing the hurt within himself. And this woman can obviously tell,
of course,
that something is not right.
100%.
If we had an opportunity, I would have loved to ask him, how many times do you guys have sex in a month? There's a good chance he'll say once.
Oh, that's a lot.
Because if... Wow. What is happening here, ladies? I heard talk about Sahara deserts. Now I'm hearing about once, and it's a lot.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
I'm kidding.
That's a conversation for another day, right? Okay.
No, no, it's a conversation for today. Can we talk about, in relationships? I mean, not to, once we finish with this.
Yeah, go on.
In relationships, because, there's some people, one partner may have a higher, sex drive than the other. So how do people meet in the middle?
In the middle. I don't know. Compromise.
Schedules.
I'm
asking a question. I don't know.
How'd you schedule?
I haven't.
How'd you schedule sex?
I don't know. You can just say maybe listen. Okay. I know a couple where the guy was completely
what?
Really high sex drive. And his wife said, we'll do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And then I saw it. Do you remember that thing? Oh, little fires everywhere. That, what's her name?
Yeah.
I've forgotten her name.
Did you watch the show?
Little fires everywhere.
No.
Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, so Reese Witherspoon had a schedule.
Yeah.
But I've known these guys from university.
That's
and they
boring.
had a schedule.
But where's the fun in the schedule?
I don't know. I can't.
I don't get it.
Obviously, I can't really comment.
Whatever, Natasha.
But no. So I don't think I hear you about the where's the fun in the schedule, but then I do think. So I've heard of people sort of saying
I've read
no because I'm single, so having date nights, maybe being intentional that at least twice a month we have date night, meaning that maybe if you've got kids, the kids are out, they're there with someone else, and then we go out and whatever. So I mean, I'm assuming then at the very least you kind of know that's kind of like scheduling.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Right.
so,
Okay.
so you kind of, so I think maybe it's both.
Right.
You have to be flexible
A little bit
and
spontaneous.
still have maybe like Friday is your day. Like, I've heard people sort of say, oh, Sunday is our family day. Like, I'm with, so sometimes people do get busy and.
Do you know what has schedules?
What?
Chores.
Yeah.
Oh, it's time to cook.
So things that you do, yeah.
Right? Oh, it's time to go to this place. It's time to do this. And whenever you hear it's time to do this, what's the natural reaction for some people?
It becomes boring.
So how does that differ to sex? Hey, babe, it's time for us to go do dash.
Can I? No. Listen, I obviously I don't know what it's like for people who are in like living together and having those sort of relationships where they're in the same household, but I know that life is busy, and I'm a mother of quite a grown woman. Well, not grown woman. My daughter is 20, but I know going to work, coming home, the day is cooking, getting, I find that my time is just literally consumed so quickly.
I'm going to ask you a question. When you wake up, is your phone the first thing you touch? Just to check if any messages have come through?
Probably.
Okay, what time does your alarm go off?
At 7.
7. And what time do you go to the shower after it's gone off and you've looked at your phone?
Literally, because I need to, like, probably 5 minutes.
What, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Do you know that 5 minutes is enough to have a quickie?
Okay. It's been a long time.
I wouldn't know.
but the point I'm making,
So you can,
if you really want to, right?
Yeah.
Guys are like light bulbs. You literally tap us, boom, we're ready to go.
Oof.
It's that simple. So just tap. Hey, babe, come quick.
So you touched on an interesting thing where you're saying like with this guy who's not happy, you would ask him how often they're having sex.
Yeah.
So are you saying that why that question? Sorry.
Because it's highly likely they're not having sex, which means that they don't have chemistry, which means that they're not really getting physical, which means they've disconnected physically, they've disconnected emotionally, and they're just stuck in the same room because they have kids.
So, because that's interesting. Because I remember one time I had a discussion with a guy who was saying that in relationships, I think he was saying that the way you can tell that a man has checked out of a relationship is when the sex and the physical aspect is now less. He was like, oh, that's the first place that they check out. But I was sort of saying, I don't know, maybe this is just my assumptions, that I thought that guys can almost just like still, even if they feel nothing for you, but if you're there, they'll still...
Have you heard about shoelaces or shoelacing?
No.
Okay. If I untie my shoelace now, okay, right there. Can you see how limp it is?
Yeah.
It is possible that if a guy is not emotionally and sexually connected to someone, he can you imagine this ever getting hard and standing on its own?
No.
It can't.
No.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. If he doesn't have that juice in him, it will not get up.
And I have heard this. I've heard this from guys
It won't get up.
Who've been like, oh, you know what? Nah, I'm done. They'll be even living in the same house.
Yeah.
And she's like, nah, I can't. There's nothing. I feel nothing.
It's as good as a shoelace. Yeah, it's as good as a shoelace. It won't budge.
But do you think though, Tinto, that it is actually possible to, if to bring that, like if you're in a marriage, for example, or if you maybe wanted to make things work, is it possible to maybe one day with a period of time, the period of work, maybe, period of communication, a period of maybe readjusting or realigning goalposts or whatever it is, to kind of maybe bring back that physical, the intimacy back into relationship?
Yes, there's a word, reignite. What does re mean? Re means to re-engage, to restore, to bring back. If we didn't have a word like reignite ever in the world, I would say now we can't, it can't be done. But because there's words like that, rekindle, re-engage, reignite, I think, yes, it can happen. Yeah. Just as long as you don't focus on love being the reason why that is getting reignited.
Yeah.
We just miss having fun as me and you. Can we just try doing that again?
Yeah.
And then everything else reconnects.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my take.
No, this is really interesting. So are we saying, so the New Zealand guy, what are we saying? He should reignite or she should leave?
I think he should leave. I don't think he ever had it. And
And I
he's
think-
and unfortunately for him, he's now in New Zealand and probably has a New Zealand passport.
Yeah, so that's
So,
why he's
yeah,
saying
yeah.
so-
he doesn't want to be like he
One
got
of
his
those
stuff.
people.
Yeah,
He's already thinking
he's
like
already
that.
thinking it. So, he just needs to do himself a favor. Poor guy, man. I feel for him.
I feel for her. I feel for both of
Yeah,
them.
you feel for
And
both
I
of
think
them.
you make a really good point because I know I've kind of always grown up in the whole yes, you stay for the children. Like the thing is to try and stay. Like
Yeah.
and in this case, she has not given him reason, as it were. Because he's really like because he's like, oh, she's
lovely.
She's limited, like he says something about her conversation is not interesting stuff. But no, if that's your mate, like you
Yeah.
talk and you teach each other stuff.
So imagine they don't even really talk about stuff. Okay,
That's a shame.
if you guys know about pillow talk, just get on the pillow and just chat to babe about
I mean, I
About
don't-
nothing.
know nothing and everything, and
Yeah.
pillow talk
It's
is
the best
nice.
time.
I wouldn't know.
But
the
but
best
if conversation is dead like that, hey,
It's difficult.
this guy.
Because now, but for me, I was like, now you're seeing that her worldview is limited.
Now
But-
you see it.
But before,
Now you see it now that you're in New Zealand. You have a different.
Now you've
different
traveled the world,
perspective.
also you now start seeing that
Because-
the worldview is limited.
Yeah, because like I remember even like a generation before where women would come like coming even to UK bringing their husbands, and then we had this term that's bavulega mehlo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Their eyes
yeah,
get
they've been
opened.
opened. Yeah, they can see.
And then all of
stuff.
a sudden, limited view.
You see.
When we were in Zimbabwe, they were together. There was no limited view, but all of a sudden, it's like, there's
Or maybe this guy just needs to be real with himself. Maybe that's the real reason why he's in New Zealand. Because he just wanted to be there and to shoot.
Ish.
He just needs to be real with himself. He needs to grow some balls.
It's tough.
no, it's yeah. If you're listening, let us know. And I'm sure, guys, if you're listening, you've come across this situation because I do think the natural thing is, particularly like for women, would be like, oh, he did this, or he then left as soon as he got the papers.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people's fears about bringing
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
That I'll do all this for them and then they leave. Woo!
It's tough.
It is tough. But Tinto, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
your take.
Yeah.
You're very wise.
You're welcome.
You are very wise.
I don't know if I'd call it wise.
No, I like-
I think it's just being practical with life because life really tells you and shows you what it's saying, and we all wear blinkers and we choose to ignore it. Just take it for what it's giving you.
No, I appreciate the way you think. I like a great mind.
Thanks, guys.
Exactly. Okay, so we are going to move to the music.
Well, I haven't put my selection,
Okay,
So you can do it.
the music, yeah?
You let me know the music,
Oh,
not
yeah.
necessarily Zim. So what we're gonna do is each person pick a song. So Tinto,
Yeah.
what is your